Welcome to the Cinefied Podcast, the podcast where we talk movies, TV, and all things like that. Today, we are not talking about anything on the big screen or the small screen. We are talking about Oscars. It's Oscar time of the year, and the nominees were just announced less than a week ago. So I feel like this is the best time for myself, John, and Tyler to knock down our thoughts on these, I believe, 20 categories. I might be very much wrong with that, but that's what I believe. And I figure let's just kind of dive into our thoughts on the Oscars as a whole. I personally am quite a big fan of it. I believe that it's kind of like in a term or my version of a Super Bowl, although as I believe one of our members here also enjoys watching the Super Bowl probably just as much as the Oscars, but I'm very much looking forward to talking about it. So, John, what is your relationship with the Oscars? Is this something that you look forward to each year? And how has it lived up in recent memory?
Yeah, man. I love the Oscars. And I can remember way back when I was in 7th or 8th grade watching Titanic win 11 Oscars on TV and not really understanding. Like I had heard of the Oscars before, but not really understanding what they were. But the big cultural celebration and touchstone that they've become, at least in my life, started with that Titanic ceremony, for lack of a better word, because it just completely swept everyone else. And then the next year, when I was all riled up because Saving Private Ryan, which was unanimously considered to be the front runner for Best Picture, turns out was not the winner. It went to Shakespeare in Love, and I think history's been kinder to Saving Private Ryan in terms of the film discourse scene as opposed to Shakespeare in Love. But ever since that time, the late 90s for sure, and seeing Matt Damon and Ben Affleck win an Oscar, these two young guys, and look at them now, and what the Oscars have turned into, and and the whole award season in general, I'm a fan of because it's a time to celebrate the arts and what the arts do for our culture and for our community. And Oscars are like the tentpole event, right? The final big show, and it's great. I'm a big fan.
Which is kind of crazy when you think of it, because in a couple of years ago, the Oscars weren't the final show. Now it is kind of like the definitive, like this is where the end of the award season is. Because before, I remember like the Oscars were like on my birthday, which is like February 9th, and now it's like a whole month later. And I think that is delayed due to like the events of COVID. But I mean, and they also had issues with the host situation. We won't get into that because now we have a wonderful host this year, Conan O'Brien, whose film is one of the films up there on the big board that we're going to go over. So, Tyler, what is your relationship? And do you have a similar situation to what John described of a film that was up for nomination and should have won, but didn't?
Yeah, I really love the Oscars. One of the big things that one of the big reasons why I got into film is because of the Oscars. One of my favorite quotes actually is from Moira Rose from Schitt's Creek, where Alexis asks her, "What is your favorite season?" And Moira goes, "Awards." That is completely me. I really love the Oscars. When I really got into film, it was Christmas Day in 2016. My mom really wanted to see this new musical that had Ryan Gosling and Emma Stone in it. And I had not even heard of it. That was La La Land, of course. And after walking away from it, I was a theater major in college. I was really struggling with what my place was in theater and in the artisanal world. And seeing that movie really hit me pretty hard. I walked away sobbing. I was like, I want to see that win every single award possible. It hit me in the most emotional type of way. So going in that night, I was really rooting for La La Land to win Best Picture. I think Moonlight is an amazing picture. I think that it really deserves its place in the Best Picture lineup. I don't want to go as far to say that it didn't deserve to win Best Picture or that history hasn't been kind to it. Because it's a really great film. But at the time, La La Land really kind of had a more emotional strength hold on me. And La La Land still is one of my favorite movies. So I not quite the same as Shakespeare in Love and Saving Private Ryan, because I think they're both incredible films and they both made very deserving wins for different reasons. But that was the one that I was rooting for, and that was the one that really got me into the awards.
Got it. I mean, it's very much like we're with Cinefied as a whole, we're really big into our love of film and the work that goes into it. And I feel like the Oscars are like when you're so passionate about movies, you grow up with the Oscars. You know, whether you're led into it by like, oh, someone's hosting that you think's funny. Like my dad, who's a big movie person, he probably had me watch them because like Steve Martin was hosting or something like that. You know, it wasn't like as like a little kid, like, hey, watch this thing about movies that you're not old enough to know. It's like, watch it because Steve Martin's on the screen and he's an idol. You know, it's kind of like the Oscars are like they're a great reflection on the year as a whole when it comes to the iconic movies that are released. You got, and it's also, if done well, a great showcase of normally a comedy like performance, and sometimes that backfires. You can look at when you don't put a comedian on the stage, such as Anne Hathaway and James Franco for some reason. But you do have wonderful takes such as Steve Martin. And you got Steve Martin, I think Alec Baldwin did a good job. I think if you go more recent years, I think Jimmy Kimmel, at least for his first year, did a really good job. I think he kind of wore down his welcome, but that's nonetheless. I think when I think about the Oscars, one film comes to mind that I think was the biggest. It was nominated, but deserved the win, and that was The Social Network to me. The Social Network lost to A King's Speech, and the King's Speech has never been a film that I have really had interest in ever revisiting, and it's really been lost in the shuffle. Like, even if you say, what's the best Colin Firth performance, no one's going to say A King's Speech. Like, I mean, maybe technically it is, but as far as like the first film that comes to your mind, I don't think that's it. Like, I think like when I think Colin Firth, I think, you know, I love him in like more not serious films like Love Actually or something like that. But that's just me. But Social Network as a whole, to me, it's David Fincher really putting his all into a picture. You got Aaron Sorkin, and you got performances that are just astounding throughout. It really, I don't know, I can't remember what else it won, but it deserved more. Do you remember, John, what it won?
I want to say it won Best Score, Atticus Ross and Trent Reznor. I remember that because I was actually rooting for either that to win or the Inception soundtrack to win, because I love both of those.
Yeah.
I think it might have won one or two other ones, but I think it won 3 or 4 Oscars. I think the rest were all technical. So
yeah, I don't think it won a acting awards, did it?
It did not. It was
Eisenberg was nominated.
Best Actor, yeah. It won Best Adapted Screenplay as well, which was very deserved for Aaron Sorkin. Yeah, and then it also won Best Film Editing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that makes sense because it's very. And did you confirm, Tyler, that it did win score or no?
Yes, it won Score, Film Editing, and Adapted Screenplay.
Which is very interesting because I mean, I guess that score is less electronic than a lot of Atticus Ross's later scores. Like you look at Tron, you look
Tron,
or you look at what was the one from Challengers. Challengers has like a very electric score, and I think it's brilliant. But obviously, the Academy didn't even nominate it. That's another stub. But we're not talking about previous years anymore. We're out of there. Now we're into this year. We're going to run down in the order that they were announced on. I don't know what day. What day was it? Tuesday.
It was last. It was
Thursday, 15th.
Thursday.
Yeah.
So, recent enough that we can still talk about it, and we'll get our predictions in here as well. So if we're closer to the 15th of March, if you want to kind of check in on here, skim through this podcast, you'll know how we feel about what's going to win and kind of get an individual perspective. So we're going to start with makeup and hairstyling. In that category was nominated Frankenstein, The Sinners, not The Sinners, just Sinners, sorry, The Smashing Machine, The Ugly Stepsister, and I unfortunately don't know how to pronounce the other one. Is it Kokio?
Kokuo.
I believe. Kokio. Did I say it right that time?
Kokuo.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm going to say yes. I don't know enough about that picture to really give it a fair chance, to be totally honest. I am surprised off the bat when it comes to not necessarily a snub, but just kind of like, that's interesting it wasn't here, because I feel out of the few categories that it could be in here is Wicked for Good. Because in the previous film had very similar everything. Go ahead.
And no, Wicked for Good got completely shut out after having 10 nominations for Wicked. It totally got Joker Folia Dude. And like not even a nod for Ariana Grande. But also I just think that Wicked for Good was just not as strong of a film as the first Wicked. It didn't punch with the same kind of weight class as the first film did. So I think it kind of got lost in the shuffle. So
no, I fully agree. But I mean, I thought well, I'll get into it with the other categories, but I did think that makeup and hairstyling, because it was for sure nominated for that, and I think possibly won last year or not. Shoot, when was it? Was it last year?
last year.
Yeah. Go ahead,
Time
Tyler.
flies,
You got the
man.
facts?
Sorry, I was being sarcastic. I was like, I'll be the fact checker this episode.
Tyler,
I guess
he's our guy in the chair.
It up.
Tyler's a guy in the chair.
I guess I first saw Wicked getting less nominations this year as well. I am very surprised and also not surprised by the complete shutout this year. It did not win last year. It won costume design and production design last year.
Okay.
But usually those three all kind of work together. A lot of those nominees all over kind of lap each other. So it makes sense that it was nominated last year. What did win last year in that category?
Well, before we keep going, I just want to state thanks for being our fact checker, Tyler.
No.
Tyler's on it, man.
Last year it was The Substance, which, fun fact, the last few years, makeup and one of the lead acting performances have gone hand in hand with wins. A lot of the actors like to see a huge transformation. It happened with The Whale and Brendan Fraser, and it's been happening a bit more recently. So when The Substance won makeup last year, I thought Demi Moore was going to win Best Actress as well. Yeah. But alas,
I thought she was a lock last year. I thought she was a lock, to be fair, but alas.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not as surprised by the complete shutout of Wicked this year. I am surprised it just got nothing. I thought that at the very least it was going to get those three: production design, makeup, and costume design. Yeah. So the fact that it's not here is surprising. The makeup branch really kind of goes for whatever they want. They do not care who the front runners are. They don't care what films are technically good or like on the radar. They will just nominate the best work that they think deserves to be in that category. And a lot of times it results in pretty weird nominations. Yeah. Very famous example was Suicide Squad from 2016, not only getting nominated, but winning that category. Famously bad movie. But truly, they just see the work for what it is, and they kind of just nominate whatever the hell they want. And I think that's really evident here by including Kokuo and including The Ugly Stepsister as well. Gold Derby had predicted Wicked for Good and One Battle After Another for those last two slots. So seeing them kind of just do this here, it's not super surprising. I'm already talking right now, so I'm just going to go for it. I think Frankenstein is going to win this category. I think what they did to Jacob Elordi with that makeup is really transformative and really great work. And Frankenstein is kind of all over the place, got a lot of nominations, and the entire Academy votes on this for winners, not just the branches themselves. So I think a lot of people are just going to see that movie more, and they're going to go for that one a little bit.
I mean, go ahead, John. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say I have not seen Kokuho, or I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but it is refreshing, but not also uncommon in this category. You see so many horror films listed, and we have three, at least three for certain. Again, Kokuho, I have no bearings on at all, but I have seen the other four nominees, and they all put in really great work. So I kind of like Tyler's choice for Frankenstein. I think it was great work. I could see, I did like Sinners, just like on a technical level with this department. But also, I'm kind of leaning towards Ugly Stepsister. That seems like the dark horse in this particular race. That last movie notwithstanding, because I haven't seen it. But I could back the Frankenstein horse on this one, though. I think it's a good choice.
I think going off of kind of what you said, Tyler, about that in prior years, excluding last year with Demi Moore, that the best actor generally goes to someone associated with this category, correct? That's what you stated. So I do think that Frankenstein, in that aspect, I think has a massive, most likely win here. And that's because in the later, I believe there's I'm not saying I'm going to go with him, but I think there is a fair chance that he is going to be one of the top people that people will vote for is Jacob Elordi. So I'm going to also say Frankenstein on this one, although my second runner-up would be Sinners. Although it would be cool if the Ugly Stepsister did take it home, just because I mean it's a much more indie film. It's IFC that's on Shudder. So yeah, but I'm going to go Frankenstein. So we got one Frankenstein. And what, John, did you end up going with?
I'll roll with the crowd. I'll say Frankenstein. It's deserving.
Yeah. So. All right. So we got Frankenstein locked in as our prediction for that one. That one is a next category is original score. This one I feel is one of the more difficult ones in my personal opinion, because I love these scores. But you got Begonia, you got Frankenstein, you got Hamnet, you got Sinners, you got One Bell After Another. All five of those are terrific scores through and through. I think for me, leaving the theater, I feel like One Bell After Another really, really gripped me. Even though it is in all regards a pretty simple score. But I really grabbed onto that one. But I'm going to say, for just personally, my top contender is Hamnet. Hamnet, like the score alone, especially in the final moments, really made me tear up. Obviously the performances have an aspect to me tearing up, but the score, I mean, it just washed over me. It definitely in the closing moments. I thought it was fantastic. And this composer hasn't really done a whole lot. So I think it's fantastic work when he's done a lot of very indie films that haven't really made the mainstream. But what do you guys think, John, if you want to go first?
Listen, I love Johnny Greenwood's score. It's very unnerving. It's very uncomfortable, but that kind of ties into the theme of the movie. So the score is appropriate for the narrative it's playing with. I personally just love the Sinners score. There's gonna be a lot of love for that fucking movie on this show today. Just so you know, I fucking love that movie, Sinners. So I think the Academy is going to pick Sinners. I'm leaning towards Sinners, but having seen all the other films and listened to all the other scores, this is a very tough crowd too. So I'm gonna lock in with Sinners for me. I'll keep it short.
And Tyler, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm similar. I love all of these scores. When I'm looking at my personal lineup, my number one and my number two were not nominated, but these five are my 3 through 8 for my personal lineup. So I love all of these scores. I think this is a really great category. I favor Frankenstein personally. Hamnet is a very, very close second for me. I like how, Connor, you brought up that final moment was a really impactful moment for you. fun fact, that's not an original piece. That is a piece that was used. That's a pre-written piece that they had already written. It is probably most famously used in Arrival, but it was also used in Shutter Island, and it was used in The Last of Us as well. But I agree. It's, and I don't think a lot of Academy voters are necessarily going to know that. I think they're going to remember that moment, and they're going to remember how much it moved them, because it moved me too. I started crying during that piece. I got to go with John here. I think Sinners is going to take this. I think the Academy loves Sinners. That score is incredible. And I think they're really going to favor this one in that category.
All right. Well, I am curious, because you did bring it up. What are you said you have top 2 that aren't mentioned on this category. They're not nominated. What got snubbed?
Yeah, my personal top 2, I don't think they were snubbed, because I think in order for something to be snubbed, that means one of the nominees doesn't deserve to be there. And I would not replace any of these nominees with my top 2. But my personal top 2 of the year are K-pop Demon Hunters and the Fantastic Four.
Oh, Fantastic Four. Yeah, I think that score is fantastic. That
score was incredible.
Especially in recent memory of other Marvel projects. It's definitely one that resonated more with me. K-pop Demon Hunters, I'm going to be 100% honest. I really enjoyed it, but it's not one that I've really gone back to rewatch. So I don't really have a strong opinion about the score. I have a strong opinion about Kim Jong's performance in it. It's not good, but I think, yeah. Well, go ahead.
You don't love Bobby? Oh, Connor. I
do sweet Bobby.
I know.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I do love the music. I do love the music more than the movie, personally. I have listened to that soundtrack nonstop, and it got to a point where I was like, I should probably watch this movie, and I did, and I was like, it's fine. I love that. I love the movie though, just because of how good I think the music is, and I think it would very well be deserving in original score. I would not swap out any of these nominees in order to put K-pop Demon Hunters into original score.
Okay, John, do you have anything that you think is deserving of being in this category? I personally don't. I think that this is a good list.
No, I'm good here.
All right. So we're going to go ahead and move along. I am kind of keeping tallies of our thoughts as we go along, just so I can kind of post later on closer to the Oscars our 3 opinions. But as far as the actress in a supporting role, that is next. This one is Elle Fanning. You got Inga Ivsdottir. I should have pronounced these names before getting on here. Elias from Sentimental Value. I haven't actually said it yet. I will butcher these names. I apologize to the people that hold these names and people that are very much aware of how to pronounce it, because I am not doing well. Amy Madigan, Wanumi Mozeku, and Tiana Taylor. That one I should know, the Sinners one, because it's Sinners, but I do not know how to pronounce their name, unfortunately. So I'm going to get the heat off me because I butchered those names. And Tyler, what are your predictions? And is there any snubs, or not snubs, just things that should have been in here?
Okay, I get really into above the line categories, so I have a lot to say about this. And this category in particular, I have a lot to say about it.
All right.
So I think most of these nominees this category was super exciting because it was kind of like you didn't really know what was going to happen one way or the other. I think Tiana Taylor and Amy Madigan were the only 2 real locks in this category. I personally had Ariana Grande getting nominated here. A lot of people were not predicting her at that last minute because they were like, the Wicked train is slowing down. Like, it's not going to get, it's going to miss out on places. And I was kind of like, yeah, it's not going to get as many nominations. It probably won't get Best Picture this year, but it'll get the craft categories, makeup, production design, and costume design. And it'll probably get Ariana Grande. Ariana Grande was nominated everywhere that she could have been. She did not miss a single place this season. So I really did not see any reason to not predict her to get a nomination. So that was really, really surprising for me. Inga Ivsdottir-Lilius did miss SAG, and Sentimental Value missed out everywhere at SAG. It was not nominated in a single category. So that probably is just a fluke. And then Wunmi Misaku also did not get the Golden Globe nomination. So that's where she missed out. So those are two nominees who missed out on one of the big like precursor awards that Ariana Grande got both of them. So I was super surprised to not see her here. Now, I think Ariana Grande didn't get the nomination and Elle Fanning did. And I'm very okay with that. I think Elle Fanning totally deserved this nomination. She only had Golden Globe and Critics' Choice Awards, so she did not have a very strong like chance getting in here, missing SAG and missing BAFTA. We don't know the nominees for BAFTA quite yet, but we know their long list, and she wasn't included on the long list, so she's just not going to get a nomination. But I'm pretty happy with this. Super surprising that Ariana missed. I'm very happy that Elle Fanning did get in. As for winners, I think a lot of people are going to go with Teyana Taylor, and I think that's who I'm going to go with as well. I think as far as the industry awards, she just holds a little bit stronger of a position with the film that she's in. And Amy Madigan has the horror bias against her. A lot of Academy voters don't really love horror. This has been notoriously stereotypical for years and years and years. They almost never reward horror movies. But don't be surprised if there is a sneak for Amy Madigan in this category. I think depending on how award season could shape out, Amy Madigan could win SAG. I don't think she'll win BAFTA. But if that's the case, that has Teyana Taylor getting Golden Globes and BAFTA and Amy Madigan getting Critics' Choice and SAG. I still think Teyana Taylor has the stronger pull with Golden Globes and BAFTA, but you know, there is a world where Amy Madigan could win this. If I was voting, I would vote for Amy Madigan. But ultimately, I think it's going to be Teyana Taylor.
All right. Yeah. I mean, all incredibly valid points. So, yeah, John, what about you? What are your anything you think should be here? Anyone that you think is a front runner?
I've heard a lot of buzz around speculating why Haley Stanfield was not included or in the mix. But Wunmi Mosaku, it was, which is fine, is valid, is a good argument to make. I think Wunmi Mosaku carries a little bit stronger than Haley Stanfield did in Sinners, though they're almost lateral in that comparison. And I think Amy Madigan's a great it's great representation. Both of them are for the horror category, which is notoriously biased against, as Tyler's already alluded to. And so, but I think, and I hate to say this, I think Amy Madigan got the popular, almost patronizing nomination. Like she rode the bandwagon of popularity to get here. And yeah, they're all this stuff is kind of a popularity contest. I can see Teyana Taylor taking home the prize too. That wasn't my favorite performance. The two ladies from Sentimental Value, I would pick Elle Fanning over Inga. I wouldn't mind Wunmi Mosaku taking this home. I'm going to lock her in. I don't think she's an Academy favorite, but I think as far as what a supporting actor is supposed to do, and we'll get more on this particular category with the actor category down the road. But you know, they come in as the supporting actor, and they do what they need to do, and then they properly seed it back to the lead performances, and they keep pushing the film and the story along. And all five of these women did incredible work this year. So I'm going to go with Wunmi Mosaku, the unlikely choice.
Makes me think. I'm the odd person out. I thought Teyana Taylor was very good in one after another, but I just don't think there's enough of her for me to really grab onto her performance to think that she's worthy of this award. Maybe that's just me. I don't know. I know people have gotten awards for much less time on screen. I'm not saying but it just felt like I needed more. And I'm also a little bit, and it's one of those things where it's kind of like the Eddie Murphy effect, where you have a film that is, Dreamgirls, but you also have Norbit. She was in that awful Tyler Perry movie earlier this year and she's like the main character besides, unfortunately, I'm blanking, but she's like the secondary character. So there was a lot of screen time there and not enough screen time here. So I have, bad memories. I do think that there's a good chance. People seem to really love her performance. So I think there is a good chance of her winning. My personal love would be Amy Madigan winning, but I'm going to lock in Elle Fanning personally. I think Elle Fanning, don't roll your head at me, Tyler.
Y'all are crazy with these picks.
It's a split vote.
It really is.
I love it.
So I'm going Elle, but I'm very hopeful about Amy, but I just, as we kind of stated, the horror aspect, I think, and we'll get into this more as we go into more of these categories. You'll notice that most of these categories that have sinners in it, I just don't think are going to be the winner. I think that a lot of these, it's going to be, it obviously won, or not one. It got the most amount of nominations ever for for the Academy with Sinners, and that's fantastic. And I love the film, but I just think it is ultimately, it's obviously much more than just a horror film, but it is a horror film, and I don't think enough people, I think overall, are going to vote for it. But we'll see.
And to that point, Connor, if I could real quick, and that's a big problem I have sometimes, is because even today, this day that we're recording this, I will still see online discourse of people purposely skirting around the main messages of Sinners and just saying, "Oh, this film got all these nominations. Oh, what is it?" Very people that look like me, if you get my drift, and completely bypassing the message. And I think that kind of volatile discourse can permeate the Academy members, and it just kind of fuels this discourse, it fuels this bias that horror movies are a one note type of thing. And do I think my pick is going to win in my heart? No, but I want her to win. I think she's the most deserving. And it's just, like you said, fighting against that tide that is this bias, because horror and genre films typically are seen as less than, unless it's in the trades, those kind of craft categories. So it's a rough road for horror in general, especially Sinners.
Yeah. I think that it's going to be, I don't want to step over everything you just said. Just basically, I totally agree. And I think that when people see this genre listed, they're just like, I don't even know. Closer to when the voting occurs, like the official voting, you'll see survey things. I don't even know how the comments come out where people will be like, "Oh, I didn't even watch that." It's just it's your job to watch them. I'm like, we're not part of the Academy. If we miss one, that's on us. But you being part of the Academy and not giving the things that are nominated a fair chance, that's enough of that.
Shame on all of those motherfuckers.
Kirsten Dunst famously, when she was asked the question, "Is there anything else that you need to see this year?" She goes, "No, I saw everything because I'm a member of the Academy."
Yep, that's right. The way to do it.
On God.
Diva. She knows it. She knows ball.
Fucking love her.
So,
anyway.
We're moving on to adapted screenplay. Adapted screenplay has Begonia, Frankenstein, Hamnet, One Bow After Another, and Train Dreams. I will fully say right now, I've seen all of these except Train Dreams. Train Dreams is just something that I've not put on yet. So I'll be curious if either of you think that it is a front runner for this award. Adapted screenplay, I don't really have anything that I feel it needed to be here that's not here. I think these are all fairly good choices. I am surprised Begonia is getting the love that it is throughout all these nominations, which is great. It's a very unique film. I am kind of curious if it's just because of the love that Poor Things got a couple of years back, but hopefully not. But I know sometimes when a director is loved for a project, they'll it'll translate over, even if people haven't even seen the film. They're just like, oh, it's directed by that guy, I'm going to go One Bow After Another, which actually surprised me when it was nominated on here because I had no idea it was adapted. I thought it was original, but that's my fault. But One Bow After Another is what I'm going to say is the front runner. And what about you, John?
Again, this another category that is just, it's a crapshoot, really. I do recommend, Connor, Train Dreams is on Netflix. I would spare some time and give it your eyeballs attention for a little while because it's a beautiful film, and kind of slept on. I think I'm glad it got a lot of Academy nomination love. But anyway, the point of this category, again, I kind of like the Hamnet writing a lot, but I also like those old English period pieces because who I am as a person. So I'm torn between Hamnet and Train Dreams. Train Dreams is not old period piece. Well, it is a period piece, but not in England. And One Bell After Another are also really good. Is also really good. But I do think Paul Thomas Anderson is probably due for some gold statues. So I think that's kind of how this card's going to get played a little bit here. I'm going to hedge my bets. I'm going to give it to One Battle After Another, though I do think Train Dreams and Hamnet are the stronger two. I think One Battle After Another in this mix is kind of middle of the pack.
Okay. I mean, I totally, that's why later on I do think there is going to be a win for One Battle After Another is the reason you brought up. But I'm going One Battle After Another just because I think the screenplay is incredibly strong. My secondary pick would be Hamnet, but I just have it's just something about One Battle After Another that's compelled me to go back and seek it out. And I think there's so many factors, but and Hamnet, I mean, it's crushing. It's very it's very well done, but it's just I don't know. There's just something about it that I feel like isn't as it's just not going to grip as many people as I feel like One Battle After Another as far as Academy members. But maybe I'm wrong because it is a period piece. Academy members of old have quite liked a period piece. Especially one starring like Keira Knightley. But yeah, I'm going to stop. Tyler, what about you?
So one of my favorite fun facts about the Oscars is that in order to win Best Picture, you need to win either screenplay or director. Now, screenplay is a little bit easier to win because there's two categories, but the last film to do it without winning either one of those categories, I believe, was 2002 for Chicago. And there have been more, it's not like that's a hard and firm rule, but if you're winning Best Picture, you're either winning director or screenplay or both. Now, spoilers for later categories, obviously, but I think it's going to be One Battle After Another. I think that film is really strong. I personally really love that screenplay. It's my number one adapted screenplay. Excuse me. I think the strongest contender against this one is Hamnet. And if we get a Hamnet win in this category, that's going to make for a very exciting Oscars night. I don't see that happening right now. We're still quite a bit away. Nominations just came out, so things could shift a little bit. But I agree. I think this is pretty firmly where PTA gets his Oscar, if not one of his Oscars. I feel pretty good about One Battle After Another in this category.
All right. And moving right along to original screenplay, we have Blue Moon, It Was Just an Accident, Marty Supreme, Sentimental Value, and Sinners. Original screenplay, I'm really locked in between two, to be perfectly clear. It's really between Sinners and Blue Moon. I think Blue Moon is very deserving of this award. I think it's a top-notch script. It's very heavy on the dialogue, and I think that it's done so well because of the performance behind it, or I guess in front of it, because whatever. But Ethan Hawke just delivers this script so terrifically that I really want to root for Blue Moon, because Blue Moon is such a wonderfully compelling drama. I guess you would call it. It's not. It really leans into. I guess it's not overly dramatic. I have all three of you seen Blue Moon? Do you have, Tyler? Have you seen it, John? Okay, cool. But yeah, I feel like I have to go Sinners on this one. To me, I wanted to do Blue Moon, but I'm going to go Sinners. I think it's Ryan Coogler has not, right? He has not won an award yet. He's been nominated for. No, he hasn't been nominated. Shit. Okay.
He has not won. I'll do
not
that
won.
checking on if he got nominated.
Okay, but yeah, so I'm going to go Sinners. While Tyler's looking, John, what is your opinion?
So this, or the original screenplay category. The category this year is one of my favorites because all 5 of these films are so fucking well written.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I would love for It Was Just an Accident or Blue Moon to win. I like Blue Moon and Sinners for the simple fact they tell a great story in kind of like a bottle episode format, or most things kind of happen in one location. Sinners has a few more locations than Blue Moon does. Blue Moon's pretty much in one spot.
Yeah.
And it's so gripping. And like you said, Connor, the dialogue, such sharp, witty, funny lines. There's the question you did not ask me for this category. But Nouvelle Vogue, the other Linklater film that came out, I wish that was in this category as well.
Okay.
God, I love that movie, but I also like French films. So,
would you take that over Blue Moon if you're going?
I would take that over Marty Supreme.
Okay.
I'm that one kid in class. I wasn't gaga for Marty Supreme all that much, but that's a different discussion. For the purposes of this conversation, I could see Sinners winning. Totally. I think Ryan Coogler wrote a damn good script.
Mm-hmm.
I could see, and I like sentimental value. Like, all these films are really good. Even Marty Supreme are all really well written. And I'm rambling. Let me just cut to the chase. I don't really have a choice right now. But if I had to pick something, like hedging my bets based on popularity, I could lean toward Sinners, but my heart is with Blue Moon, if that makes sense. Like,
so we're in very similar boats. Okay.
I like Blue Moon better, but I think Sinners is the winner.
I
makes
agree.
Sense.
I agree. All right, I'll just put Blue Moon / Sinners. All right. Cheating the system. All right. Tyler, what is your opinion? You're very expressive, man. So, I mean, when he brought up Marty Supreme not being his going gaga over it, you're very expressive. So, is that your winner? How do you feel about Marty Supreme first, and then how do you feel about these titles?
No, I hated Marty Supreme, so I
didn't go the way I thought.
Vindicted, because I feel like I am the oddball out. I feel like everyone loves that movie, and I'm like,
you guys can be the best friends in the back of the class. It'll be fun.
Right.
It stressed me out, and I don't like being stressed out. I don't want to watch a movie that stresses me out.
Yeah, every Safdie Brothers film has done that to me. Uncut Gems, Good Time, even Smashing Machine. I can't watch them again. No, thank you.
Yep.
Yeah,
yep.
Good Time's my personal favorite, but sorry, Tyler, I don't mean to jump into you.
No, you're fine. Super quickly, Ryan Coogler has been nominated before. He was nominated for a producing credit for Best Picture for Judas and the Black Messiah in 2020, and he was nominated for a songwriting credit for Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. But this is the first that he has gotten a screenplay credit, writing, or a director credit. This would be his second Best Picture nomination with Sinners. I think it's Sinners. I think that it's hard to overcome like the popularity of that film. I think a lot of people clearly like it. I think the writing in that film is mostly really, really good. I personally have one thing, writing wise, that I don't really get what happens in the film. But I think that compared to the other nominees here, that's gonna be a hard one to beat. I don't necessarily agree that Blue Moon is in contention to win or the runner-up. I think the runner-up is Sentimental Value, because it's about, the entire premise is about the writing of a film and how the writing of a film like really affects everything else throughout it, like its casting, its setting, even its language and country of origin. So I think that one might be a little bit stronger. I don't see it going any other way apart from Sinners. I'm also going to attach that asterisk again, in that in order to win Best Picture, you need to win either screenplay or director. And so that's a big indicator of why I'm putting Sinners here as compared to anything else. Yeah, that's about all I've got to say about it. I think that's going to be hard to beat.
I don't know. but I, that's all right. I think that's Blue Moon. I think I would put Sentimental Value at third, but I mean, I really, really want Blue Moon to win. But I feel it that Sinners is what's going to come out on top when it comes to this category. So, all right. Anything else with this category before we move on? Nope. Okay. So next is actor in a supporting role. So we got Benicio del Toro for One Battle After Another. And I didn't do this for the actresses. Sorry, I should have said the titles of the films they're in. Jacob Elordi for Frankenstein, Delroy Lindo for Sinners, Sean Penn for One Battle After Another, and Stellan Skarsgård for Sentimental Value. I'm not going to start here because this is one of the ones that is most complicated for me to really pick. So I'm going to actually start with Tyler. What is your pick for what you think is going to win? Is there anything that should be here? Anyone that is not deserving? Go ahead.
Hell yeah. I got a lot to say about this category.
Right.
So this one was pretty much locked up for a very long time. 5 actors got all 5 of the nominations that they needed. That's not entirely true. 4 actors got all 5 of the nominations that they needed. Golden Globes, Critics' Choice Awards, SAG Awards, and BAFTA. And then that last slot was pretty much already dedicated to the other actor who did not get one of them, that being Stellan Skarsgård, because Sentimental Value missed out everywhere in SAG. So we were pretty sure, not we, as a lot of people who predict the Oscars were pretty sure that the 5 for Best Actor were going to be Benicio del Toro, Jacob Elordi, Sean Penn, Stellan Skarsgård, and Paul Mescal for Hamnet. And the fact that it was Delroy Lindo, huge surprise for me. That one really, really took me out of left field, especially because he hadn't been nominated anywhere else. Miles Canton has been nominated other places. So if there was going to be a supporting actor from Sinners, that's supposedly who it was going to be. But there is a lot of love in the Academy for Delroy Lindo, especially after his performance in 2020's Da 5 Bloods. So I'm not surprised that he's here. He was my number 8 pick in my predictions. So he was still like in the names of people who could be nominated, but I am very surprised in the sense that I thought those 5 were totally locked up. I also think Paul Mescal missing here is a pretty big indicator of showing Hamnet's weakness in the Best Picture race and Sinners' strength in the Best Picture race, because if Hamnet was a little bit stronger, the actors are the largest branch of the Academy, and so they have a huge influence over who wins Best Picture and who doesn't. Paul Mescal should be here. There's no reason why Paul Mescal shouldn't be here if they really liked Hamnet as much as they did. But the fact that Delroy Lindo is here for Sinners really shows that film's strength. I am really, really confused about who's going to win. I think Sean Penn gives a very strong performance in One Battle After Another, which is another really strong film, as we've discussed. I think Benicio del Toro is a surprise that a lot of people really like his performance in comparison to Sean Penn's. Out of One Battle After Another, I prefer Benicio del Toro's performance. Jacob Elordi very surprisingly won Critics' Choice Award, and then Stellan Skarsgård won Golden Globe, and a lot of people thought Stellan Skarsgård was going to win Golden Globe. But we've also seen a lot where these veteran actors win early on in the award season and then don't end up going on to win the Oscar. So I think the top two is between Stellan Skarsgård and Jacob Elordi as of right now. I am not going to make a bold prediction. I'm going to go with Stellan Skarsgård just because I think he's kind of been the quote unquote front runner all season. I could really see this going anyway. I could see any one of these 5 nominees winning. So if Stellan Skarsgård doesn't win, I'm not going to be like, oh, wow, that was completely shocking. He's just the one that I'm going to go with right now. If I was voting, I would vote for Jacob Elordi here. I thought he gave a really well-rounded performance in Frankenstein and a really transformative performance, as we were talking about in makeup. But I think this is a really interesting category, and it's a lot of fun, and I'm really excited to see how it turns out on Oscar night.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree that it's very, I don't know if confusing is the right word, but it's a stacked category. Everybody here is very deserving. There's not really one person here that I feel like is really lesser than the other. I personally feel it in my bones that Jacob Elordi is going to win. I mean, there's just so much like buzz around him being nominated compared to a lot of these other ones. And I mean, obviously that it's assisted in buzz on the internet by the whole Bond rumor where they talked to him about playing Bond, which, I mean, it would be a smart move if he does win to go with him as Bond, because, you know, you got an Oscar winner as James Bond. But I'm going to go Sean Penn. I think for me, Sean Penn is my preferred performance over Benicio del Toro. I love both. I love every performance in that movie, to be clear. But oh no, I just realized I forgot to say somebody earlier. No, they're leading, so never mind. Yeah, I'm going to stick with Sean Penn. As a dude, just, I mean, he's a weirdo in real life, and he plays a weirdo really well here. I mean, if he, I think the only thing that would make it any more of like a lock-in is if he was somehow able to play like the most normal looking and natural dude ever. I'd be like, oh wow, that's transformative for Sean Penn. But yeah, I just think that it's just a good performance overall, and it's one that's really stuck with me. Even more so, out of all the performances, I think Leo is one of the lesser ones in the entirety of the film. Like, I think it's a good performance. We'll get to that, but I think that Sean Penn is miles above as far as me actually remembering things that transpired in One Battle After Another. I'm like, oh yeah, that scene with Sean Penn and Chase Infinity. I'm like, ooh, that was, you know, intense. But yeah, Sean Penn dropping it, but Jacob Elordi would not be surprised. So those are my top two, but Sean Penn winner for me. John, what is yours? Go ahead.
Yeah, so I can recall leaving the screening of One Battle After Another way back when it came out. I was with a buddy of mine, and I walked out, and I told him to his face, Benicio del Toro and Sean Penn are both getting Oscar nominations for this film. I called it at the screening. I knew it, and I was right, because they're so profound and so inspiring and so great. Sean Penn's going to win this Oscar. It's going to be Sean Penn's Oscar. This is Sean Penn's race. Jacob Elordi didn't blow me away. I don't get what the hype is about his performance. I thought it was fine. I didn't think it was Academy Award not worthy. I don't know who I'd replace him with. Maybe Andrew Scott from Blue Moon, but that's a stretch, really. I love Stellan Skarsgård. If he wins, that's great too. Who's the other one? Delroy Lindo. Great surprise. I like in this category, again, horror is represented twice. Like, I'm a big horror fan, if to the masses that are not aware, and seeing so much love this year, and the love has grown exponentially. Last year we had The Substance, and Alien Romulus getting some stuff, some award nominations. But yeah, this is Sean Penn's Oscar. Everyone else is showing up to look nice, get some drinks, and see some friends, and Sean Penn's going home with this thing. Because if you think about it, when you went home from One Battle After Another, what character were you thinking about the most? I'll bet you $500,000 it was Sean Penn, because he carried this movie. It was his movie, and a supporting role, of course. And to Connor's point about a future discussion regarding Best Actor, I didn't even think Leo would be nominated. Honestly, this was Sean Penn's movie. It's going to be Sean Penn's Oscar. It's a done deal. It's a wrap. It's as sure as I was Kieran Culkin was going to win last year, and he did. I feel the same way about Sean Penn's performance here. But to be fair, all 4 other gentlemen nominated are very deserving. Jacob Elordi, I'll let it slide.
All right. Any rebuttal, Tyler, to anything you just said? Just because I know his $500,000 offer. I mean, you could take him up on it.
No, I mean, like I said, if Sean Penn walks away with that Oscar on March 15th, I am not going to be surprised. He's not who I'm going to pick right now. But if he does, it truly won't shock me. I'll be like, yeah, sure. I think any of them really could win this category. Any 5 of them, really, I do think they all stand a really, really strong chance.
And just to be clear, your second, your runner-up for your opinion is Jacob Elordi, correct? And your top will win is Stellan.
Yes, that is what I'm going with.
All right, cool. All right, going into the first new category in however many years. And to be honest, when they started saying that, I forgot that this was
25 years ago. 25
years ago. Jesus. Okay. So yeah, this is remarkable that they're bringing in a new category in. However, I totally forgot that this was coming. When they said we have, the first new category, I was like, oh, I thought stunts was next year. It is next year. So I'm very much looking forward to stunts, but casting is a huge part of films. So I'm also appreciative that it's here as well. But just insider point of view on how I feel about the categories, I would have preferred stunts being here first, but it's fun. So we got Hamnet, Marty Supreme, One Battle After Another, The Secret Agent, and Sinners. So casting, this one's interesting because I mean, obviously we hadn't had to reflect on this category before. Obviously we think of the casting as far as just in general when we write our reviews, but not in terms of awards contention. So I'm going to start with John. What is your pick for casting? And do you think anything deserved to be here more?
Great. Yeah, this is a really interesting category because it's new, it's exciting. We have no frame of reference. We have no index of the past to go back and say, what have they done before with this category, to my knowledge. And it looks like, to my understanding of this category, we're all still trying to figure it out and figure out what it means. It's this, what movie has a stable of performances that best represent, this film and its message. I assume that's my drawn up rough definition of what this category is going for. And of the 5 here listed, the answer here is Sinners, obviously. I love The Secret Agent and One Battle After Another. I think they're probably the next 2 the rung down below Sinners. But it's hard to really put into words because there's not a lot of context behind what this category means, really, outside of the surface definition of casting. What is, I'm going to pick Sinners, and I just think it is interesting, to your question, Connor, that sentimental value is not in this category, despite having its 4 primary players all Academy Award nominated for this film, for that film. And yet it's not in this running. So that's a head scratcher, but we're kind of building this airplane as we're flying it when it comes to the casting category. That's my 2 cents for that.
All right, Tyler, what about you?
I agree with John in that I think we don't really know what this category is going to look like yet. Are they just going to award the best ensemble, which is, in my opinion, pretty different than casting? Are they going to award how they think the different actors complemented one another and how they think best represented their roles in the film in general? Which I think would be, more aligned with best casting. I think finding the right actors to portray those roles would be more in line with what best casting looks like, and finding people who work well off of one another to make the film as work as well as it does would be more in alignment with best casting. Based off that definition, I'm very, very torn between One Battle After Another and Sinners. I think One Battle After Another has a little bit more fit in favor of it because it got 4 acting nominations. Like John was saying earlier, Sentimental Value also got 4 acting nominations, and that's not here. Sinners surprised with the acting categories that it was in. And I think Sinners kind of overall represented casting a little bit better, in my opinion. I think especially the casting of Haley Steinfeld, who in the movie, she is, what is it, like an 1/8 Black? She says, my ma's daddy was half Black, so that would make her mother a 1/4, and that would make her an 1/8. Is that correct?
John, is that correct? I haven't watched it since theaters.
Yes, correct.
Yeah, and Haley Steinfeld herself is also an 1/8 Black. And she has had interviews where she said she really had to connect with that piece of her heritage that she, as a mostly white passing person, has not had to really connect with before. And I think that in itself is pretty strong casting, on top of Michael B. Jordan playing twins, on top of Unmi Masaku playing this incredible powerhouse performance as well. I lean more towards Sinners in this one, just because I think it's my personal pick, and because it had a really strong turnout for nominations. But One Battle After Another really could get it, especially with those 4 acting nominations that it got as well. And that's not even including Chase Infinity, who was a huge breakout performance in that movie as well. I don't know. It's really a coin flip between Sinners and One Battle After Another. If I had to pick one, I would choose Sinners. But I don't feel good about it. I don't feel good about it at all.
I'm hearing what you guys are saying about the category and what you think will lead to the win and what people look into as far as nominations. But I feel like, unfortunately, with this being the first year, we're guessing how people are thinking of this category when they're voting. So I really don't have an idea of what is going to win. I kind of want to pick. I feel like Sinners is most likely a top runner, but just because this category I feel is such a wild card, I'm gonna go Hamnet for it, just because, as we mentioned, just because someone's not nominated as the best actor doesn't mean that it can't be casting, because Paul Mescal's not there, but Jesse Buckley is. I feel like, and then you got the young kids, which are both of them. They're both terrific, and I'm going to say Hamnet. That's going to be my guess. I don't have a lot of logic behind it, beyond that. I just think the performances are good, and I think the chemistry is top notch.
Don't beat yourself up, Connor. There's not a lot of logic to begin with this category. There's no metrics. Just roll with it, baby. Roll with it.
Yeah, and I don't think, just because it got acting nominations, that means that this one's going to win casting. I'm just more so kind of saying, it's the best barometer, metric that we have as of right now. So you're totally right in bringing up the kids' performances in Hamnet as well. I think that stands a pretty strong chance too.
Next is costume design. Costume design has a lot of the usual suspects, but it has one unique one. We got Hamnet, we got Sinners, we got Marty Supreme, we got Frankenstein, and the one that I recognize as the odd man out is Avatar: Fire and Ash, which I'm very surprised to see here. I thought, it's just going to get visual effects. I did think that there was a very, very, very slim chance that it might get a Best Picture nod because of where F1 is. But we'll get to that. But as far as costume design, I feel like nothing really speaks to me like that's being left out here.
Nah, me either.
I think these are good. I'm once again surprised Wicked's not here, but it's fine. I like the costumes in Avatar more than Wicked this last time around. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and go to my guess for costuming is this one's hard. Frankenstein. I'm gonna say Frankenstein. So but I mean the costumes in Sinners and Hamnet were both fantastic. But I just really like Frankenstein's. What do you guys think? I'm gonna go Frankenstein.
I'm going Frankenstein too. Frankenstein all the way.
All right.
I look, Hamnet looks great. They got the look down, but you know what? What's kind of pulling me more toward Frankenstein opposed to Hamnet is that I've seen Hamlet's costumes before in other movies. It's the uniqueness, it's the unique eye, it's the auteur language of Guillermo del Toro's vision that kind of gives the Frankenstein costume design category a bigger oomph behind it, if you will. So, and Sinners is great too. I wouldn't be upset if any of those three won. Avatar is kind of the anomaly. I would agree, Connor. Marty Supreme, I'm like, I just my bias is on my sleeve against Marty Supreme. Just whatever.
Hey, that's fine.
So lay it out there.
I think honestly, I think the only one that anyone that listens to this might feel like kind of hurt by is coming up, which is the leading actor. I think if you has to go a certain way against him, I think that might be like, oh, you're just against the film as a whole. But I think that right now, all these, I think they're logical. I think they make sense. I think Marty Supreme has some good costuming, but it doesn't stand out for me. Nope. So I agree. Sorry for interrupting. John, did you have anything else?
Oh no, I was done.
Okay, I couldn't remember if I interrupted or you were done.
No,
okay,
I was interrupting you because sorry.
Tyler, what about you? Are we all Frankenstein here?
Yeah, what the fuck is Avatar Fire and Ash doing here? Like, how the hell did that get nominated? The original Avatar wasn't even nominated for Best Costume Design. So this is a crazy out there nomination. On nomination morning, this was truly the only nomination I was talking about for Delroy Lindo, where I was like, oh, wow. But even so, he was in my number 8 position. So like, whatever, it could have happened. This is the only one where I was like, what the hell is that? So shocking. Yeah, I'm going for Frankenstein. I think maybe they go for Hamnet just because they like old-timey period costumes. But Frankenstein has that too, and frankly, frankly has it better. So I think they're gonna go with that.
All right. Yeah, I mean, I was going to somehow make a joke, but then I realized we're in costuming, so it would have been better back in the makeup if it was. It'd be like this should have been nominated for makeup, but yeah, whatever. Because they're blue, but they're visuals, whatever. It's a dumb joke. I failed. All right, next.
Connor, you have final cut on this podcast. Just remind you of that.
No.
You're a sport, Connor. I love it.
All right. Original song.
Oh boy.
Original song is
Tyler's already moving. He's locked in, baby.
I'm trying to think of okay. I'm gonna say the title name and then the name. I'm not gonna say who they're by. So Dear Me from Diane Warren Relentless, Golden from K-pop Demon Hunters, I Lied to You from Sinners, Sweet Dreams of Joy from Viva Verdi, or that's right? Is that how you pronounce it? And
no idea.
Train Dreams from Train Dreams. So, as I said, have not seen Train Dreams. Did not know there was a song called Train Dreams in Train Dreams. So I guess the first question is, John, is the Train Dream song any good?
Yeah. So full disclosure, I've heard 3 out of these 5 nominees. The Diane Warren one I've not seen, but Diane Warren's almost always nominated, so like the gods have been satisfied, so it's fine. Sweet Dreams of Joy by Viva Verdi. I've never even heard of this movie. When the nominations came out, I'm like, oh, that's got to go on my watch list because I try to watch everything. But yeah, that movie completely passed me by like ships.
So it's a movie or a documentary,
whatever it is.
No
knowledge
of
it.
Short, I guess. So.
Dude, it could be a commercial. I have no idea. So yeah, Train Dreams is good. The other 2, I Lied to You and Golden, are also really, really good.
Not gonna lie, when you said I lied to you, I was like, about what? So my bad.
No. So here's my hot take, if you will.
Okay.
Well, here's my thing. Here's my pick, I should say. My pick is I Lied to You by Sinners. I think it's a really profound, inspirational piece of music. I grew up listening to blues music. My dad's an exceptionally talented blues guitar player, so I've always been drawn toward the blues. Another big reason why Sinners as a film really grabbed me, because the music was such connective tissue to my personal life. So the selection of Golden from K-pop Demon Hunters is the obvious choice from that soundtrack, because that's the most popular choice in a sea of great songs on that soundtrack, to be fair. But I don't think that's the best song on that soundtrack. And I don't think it represents the movie the best. What I think does represent the film the best, what I would pick in this category in lieu of Golden, is This Is What It Sounds Like, which was at the end of the film in the K-pop Demon Hunters, because it really was about the arc of them all coming together, and I just think it's the better song. Golden's great. I'm not trying to get Golden hate, but that's my hot take. Was the wrong K-pop Demon Hunter song got nominated, though I understand why it was the one that was nominated, if that makes sense. So
no, I mean that makes sense to me. I agree. I think the more I've heard Golden, the more I've liked it. I feel like the final song is more catchy to me. Yeah, I don't have enough like weight to pull here, because I've only seen K-pop Demon Hunters and Sinners. I haven't seen the other ones. As you said, John, I mean Diane Warren is almost always here, and for good reason. I mean she generally creates very awards-worthy songs. I think she's only won like twice though, which is kind of no. Good, Tyler, jump in. How much has she
never won? She now holds the record for a single person with the most nominees to never win. She got an honorary Oscar 2 years ago, but she has never won a competitive Oscar.
Are they just fucking taunting her? What's up?
She has a lot of friends in her branch. So in the music branch, she has a lot of friends that will always vote for her no matter what. That's why she always gets the nomination. But remember, for the wins, the Academy as a whole is voting. And she's popular. A lot of people like her, but she doesn't always write like the best songs that get nominated. And generally, I feel like for this category, the best songs end up winning.
Okay.
I would agree with Tyler's sentiment. What's your pick,
I feel
Tyler?
like, well, yeah, go ahead, Tyler. You can go ahead and jump in because I'm still thinking.
Yeah. I think it's going to be Golden. I mean, that might just be a personal bias. Like John was saying, his bias for I Lied to You. I really like the music from K-pop Demon Hunters. And Golden has been huge this entire year. I mean, it was #1 on the Billboard Hot 100 for a while. I don't know how long it was, but it slowly crept up the tracks, and then it was #1 for quite a few weeks. And it has just taken over, similar to Let It Go taking over in 2013. This song has taken over the world by storm. And I think it's going to be really, really hard for the Academy Award voters to not vote for Golden. I do personally think it represents the film as a whole. I agree. I see the reasoning for what it sounds like representing the film, but I think just the lyrics of Golden also represent like not being afraid of who you are anymore, embracing yourself, really kind of like, shining to the best that you're meant to be. And it's a catchy song. I love this song. I did also just rewatch Sinners on Friday. And God, I Lied to You is so fucking good. That is such a good song. And it is really, really important to the plot of Sinners as well. So I think, especially with the strength of Sinners overall in nominations, it's putting up a pretty good battle against Golden for Best Original Song. I am going to go with Golden, though. I think there's no denying how huge that has been outside of film, across the entire world. That is a huge, huge hit. And I think the Academy is going to want to reward that.
And this is me being dumb. I'm going to look it up real quick. I'm not going to make you look it up. One sec.
I wonder if it's going to be one of those big moments where like they perform Golden at the Academy Awards and everyone's all like just jazzed up about it, because it is a great song. Like, I love Golden. Don't get me wrong. It's on my soundtrack. It's on my Spotify top 100 from last year. Like, no hate towards Golden. But I think what might happen, it'll be like this big production on the stage, kind of like I'm Just Ken from a few years back.
Yeah.
And like they're going to get Phil Collins by somebody. Kind of like when Blame Canada with South Park, bigger, longer, uncut. This is back in the 90s, by the way. Sounds like it's before you guys' time. But Robin Williams was on stage at the Oscars singing Blame Canada.
Did not know that.
That was nominated for an Oscar that year. And then Phil Collins won for Tarzan, or whatever the song title from Tarzan was. I forget it now.
You'll Be in My Heart.
Yeah, that's the one. You're right. And everyone was all just like, yeah, Robin Williams came out. We love the song. And then because it was such a funny song, the South Park, and Phil Collins won. And everyone, even though that's also a great song, everyone in the room kind of went like, oh, okay. Well, that was fun. You can feel it through the television screen. It was so uncomfortable, but
yeah,
the Oscars, baby.
Yeah. I do think that Tyler has a really great point about it being just popular outside of the movie too. Which, I mean, I feel like most recent case of that to me is Shallow. Or Shallows, I can't remember, from A Star Is Born. I mean, everybody was listening to that outside of the movie. Some people didn't even know there was a movie. There's like new Lady Gaga song and a dude, saying. And then before that, I think even like Skyfall from Adele, like that was multiple. Like,
great song.
It's fantastic. It's possibly one of the top, like at least 5 Bond songs, and yeah, I mean, people were listening to that outside of seeing the film. I mean, the film did incredibly well, but I mean, not everybody's going to see a Bond. So I mean, that's why I think people were leaning towards that. Then you look at like other Bond films and whatnot. And, as far as Sam whatever winning, he had one of the weaker Bond songs, but it's franchise. So go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, to Tyler's point kind of echoes my sentiment from the very beginning of the show, at the top of the episode, where I was just kind of going over, the impact of the Oscars and how it kind of represents and reflects where the culture, not always, but it can reflect where the culture is at. And, Golden might have the staying power to lock in the win. I think it's between those two. And like I said, I've only heard 3 of the 5 songs. The other 2 I'm ruling out because I just don't know what they sound like. So I could see it going either way, but for my position, I'm going to go with I Lied to You. Golden has got a great percentage of winning.
I guess in that aspect, we were talking earlier also as well about how the Academy voters also don't watch everything that's nominated. And so if we here, film people, have not heard 2 of these songs, do you really think that all of the Academy voters are going to know what these songs are as well and are going to want to listen to them? Probably not. They're probably going to go with the ones that they know. Just because she knows ball. She knows what's up. They're probably just going to go with what they know. And the movies that they've seen. So they're going to know what I Lied to You is, because that's a pretty big part of the movie. And they're going to know Golden because realistically, their kids are obsessed with that song.
Yeah, you can't escape that song. I'm sorry. Even if you're not on Netflix or into movies.
It was playing at the
Instagram.
gay bar on the dance floor when I went last weekend. That's crazy. Why are you playing Golden at 1:30 a.m. at the club?
Tyler, I have a better question. Why wouldn't they play that song? It's such an anthem.
Well, why wouldn't they? They should be playing How It's Done. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, touche, Tyler. Good call.
All right.
I was like, I gotta land this plane. Oh my god! What?
I think in recent years, has there been like original song to me, like apart from, I guess, a few that I mentioned there, like Shallow, I really liked at the time, but it's definitely grown out of my liking. Like it's too much. But is there a song over the years, going off of our nominees here, that has really made you go, oh, that was deserving of winning? Like, is there anything throughout all of the Oscars that you're like, that's the song that has stuck with me as far as yes, that deserves the win of best song? Because I honestly, without looking up, it's not a category that I can instantly go, oh, that's what won. That's, but besides the Bond songs, because Bond songs always win. But do you guys think that this is a category that has anything that's that really resonates with people, that because I think last year or 2023, people were like Peaches needs to win, and then I don't even know what won. So
I think it was pretty big in the 90s. A lot of Disney songs were getting nominated in the 90s, and a lot of Disney was winning in the 90s. It wasn't super big in the 2000s or 2010s in my personal opinion. I know the big songs personally for me that have really stuck out. I know What Was I Made For from Barbie. Really love that song.
Yeah.
Weird pull, but Jai Ho from Slumdog Millionaire. I sang that in chorus in high school. That's not very expected for an Academy Award original song winner. But yeah, apart from the run of Disney movies in the 90s, I would say there's not really many that stick out as best original song winners to me. Let It Go is another big one too, like I mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
I have one, just one off the top of my head, and it was in 2001 2002 Oscars for the 2001 season. May It Be by Enya was nominated for Lord of the Rings: The Fellowship of the Ring, and it lost, to Tyler's point, to Monsters Inc. And funny enough, also that year, Diane Warren was also nominated Best Original Song way back when. So that's the only one that ever sticks out to me. I'm because I really like that song, because I bought a buddy of mine had the Fellowship of the Ring soundtrack on cassette tape.
Nice.
We're going back, friends. And not me, I had CD, but that was also the same year as Pearl Harbor and stuff like that. So yeah, I guess also to Tyler's point, the early aughts kind of got lost in the minutia of it all.
Yeah.
So, but I did have one choice for that question, Connor.
Diane Warren has gotten 17 Oscar nominations, and she has been nominated every single year in a row since 2017.
Wow.
That's
why I said the gods have been fed. The gods are pleased.
Every year, just reserve a spot for Diane Warren.
I have a lyric sheet somewhere signed by her, so when she does win, I'll have an Academy Award winner. So, but for me, as far as notable songs outside of the ones I mentioned, one of the craziest years, which was 2011, 2012, which was where there was only 2 nominees for Best Original Song, which is I looked it up. The other song it was going against was called Real in Rio from Rio, or Man or a Muppet from the Muppets. And Man or a Muppet, I mean, I sing that just randomly, but you can ask my girlfriend. I love that song. So, am I a man or am I a Muppet? You gotta ask yourself. But yeah, I mean, I love Jason Segel, so that's an easy win. And Brett McKenzie from Flight of Conchords wrote that song, composed it. So, but yeah, I mean, I think that's interesting. I always think that it's also interesting because they're like they force these numbers. They're like, there's 5 that have to be in this category, but like for that year of 2012, they're like, I guess there's 2.
So they changed the rules. So back a few years ago, they used to have a rule where it's like it had to meet a certain threshold in order to get more votes. I'm a little bit curious as to whether or not, so there just probably wasn't enough that got voted that year.
Okay.
But they changed it at a certain point where the set nominees was 5 nominees.
Okay, got it. That makes sense. So it wasn't a thing at that time.
Rio and Rio, another song I sang in high school choir. That's weird. I'm starting to think my director was maybe just really into the Oscars. We did not. No, had no reason to sing Man or a Muppet. Didn't really have a reason to sing Real and Rio either, but here we are.
All right. We got a few more categories before we get to the shorts. If you guys are okay with it, we're going to opt out of the shorts because I've not seen any of them. Is that okay with you, John?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. So next we got international feature film. We got The Secret Agent. We got It Was Just an Accident, Sentimental Value, Surat, and The Voice of Hein Rahab. I have not seen Surat or The Voice of. This is a harder category because I feel like all of these, except for The Voice of, I've heard a lot of talk about. Like normally for international features, there's like 2 that are like the film. And I feel like all of these, like I've heard a good number about. So I'm going to actually go ahead and pass it over to you guys because I feel like I have it between 2, but I'm not locked in. So Tyler, what is your current pick for the international film? And is there something that's missing here?
Yeah, I also I have only seen Sentimental Value in this category. I need to see The Secret Agent. I'm going to try to watch It Was Just an Accident. And then I'm probably not going to see Surat and The Voice of Hein Rahab.
I've heard Surat is a rough watch. Like
I heard Surat has like something to do with ravers, and as someone who, we were talking about this in the group chat, is very 365 Party Girl, I think that I would enjoy that movie. I also have no idea what it's about, so I think
our writer Trevor LaBelle said it's the bummer of the year. I think he said. So.
Love that for him. I think based off nominations, I think the quote unquote clear winner should be Sentimental Value. It got a lot of acting nominations, it got a writing nomination, it got director, and it got into picture. But The Secret Agent has been pretty strong in this category in a lot of other awards shows. It won international at both Golden Globes and at Critics' Choice. Wagner Moura won the Golden Globe for Best Actor, and it got into Best Picture as well, which is very similar to another Brazilian movie that we saw last year, I'm Still Here. So I think if you want to do something safe and just go based off of overall love, you should go with Sentimental Value. But I'm going to pick The Secret Agent. I think that one wins in this category.
I'm gonna go with the one that really came to my head first. I'm gonna go Sentimental Value, just because there's the only reason is because there are multiple nominations for other categories involving this film. But I don't really have much else to really like speculate why that would be, but that is going to be my choice, Cinema Value. But John, I know there is something missing from here that you wanted to bring up. So go ahead. And I guess the question is, the thing that is missing here, is it something that is missing or is it a snub? And if it is a snub, what would you replace?
So, hang on a second. So, um, here's what I'll say. All 5 of these films, I've seen all 5, and they're all fantastic. I cannot stress enough, do not sleep on any 5 of these films. They're all really good. Give all 5 of them your time. That's my recommendation across the board. These 5 films are probably better than most of the films in the other major categories. They're fucking good. And I get it, they're international features and they kind of get isolated to one little space most of the time. I think Sentimental Value is likely the popular, clear front runner. I also would pick The Secret Agent, though. Wagner Moura, his performance is really, really good. It kind of reminded me of, not exactly like Argo. It's not a great comparison. I think I would watch The Secret Agent again first before I went back to Sentimental Value. If that's any kind of indicator. It was just an accident. Oh my god, so good. It reminded me of this movie I saw on the Criterion Channel, A Taste of Cherry. Um, Kind of a bummer of a film, but really, really good. Surratt. Yes, Tyler. If you like raving and stuff, the movie is not about ravers exactly. They play a part, and it ends very, very fucked up. And the voice of Henry Job will make you cry. That is probably, of all 5 of these films, the voice of Henry Job is probably the hardest to watch because it's based on a true story, and it also challenges everyone's personal views, because it deals with Israel and Palestine, and how we can be objective in the face of safety and death. So take a swing at any 5 of these films. They're all really good. They're all really good. You know, the United States still has yet to catch up with the rest of the world on making the best cinema yearly, in my opinion. And this year is no different. But Park Chan-wook's No Other Choice. If I was going to follow Tyler's definition of a snub to the letter, maybe it's not a snub per se, but I think it is an artistic crime that is not even nominated for anything, because I would still pick that movie, the one, No Other Choice, over all these other 5 ones listed here. And maybe it's because I think South Korean cinema, one just kind of sets the bar for the rest of the world with visual storytelling, and 2, the Academy notoriously skirts away from South Korean cinema, Parasite being that main exception. Like, No Other Choice is not as good as Parasite, but it's still really fucking good. And I will beat that drum to the cows come home. Nothing I can do about that. The fact that it's not nominated is a travesty, in my opinion. To answer Connor's question, but in the rat race we're in right now, I would pick Secret Agent, even though I think Sentimental Value has the Academy's ear more strongly. So that's my take. So there you have it.
All right. So you're going Secret Agent.
That's the takeaway. Correct.
Right. I had to plug in my phone, so I'm trying to. Do you hear an echo on your end?
No.
Okay. Might just be on my end. Might have to deal with it. Okay. All right. Next up, we have animated feature film. We have Arco, Elio, K-pop Demon Hunter, Little Amelie, and Zootopia 2. So I'm going to just say I don't think Elio is a particularly outstanding film. I enjoyed it more than I feel like a lot of people did, including I forget who covered it for the site. Tyler, did you cover it?
I want to say I did, but
I feel like you were pretty.
really
I thought you were
liked
mixed and
Elio.
negative, but maybe not. So maybe I'm thinking someone else, but it doesn't matter. It's I might be just completely wrong. Maybe it's just Rotten Tomatoes that I'm thinking of that was negative on it. But I have not seen Zootopia 2. I've not seen Arco. I've never heard of Little Amelie. So it's really between Elio and K-pop Demon Hunters. So that's an easy choice. I'm going K-pop Demon Hunters. So Tyler, what is your choice for animated feature film?
Yeah, I did cover Elio for the site. I gave it a must see. I really liked that movie.
Well, fuck me. Okay, I'm sorry. I can't remember everything.
You're fine. I don't like a lot of movies that other people generally love. So
I feel like the last couple of
kinda
Disney
makes sense.
films you've covered were relatively
I have,
negative.
the last few that I've seen. Disney in general, I haven't been on a super hot streak with lately, but Zootopia 2 and Elio, I both felt really good about. I have only seen those three, Zootopia, Elio, and K-pop Demon Hunters. I think it's going to be K-pop Demon Hunters for the same reason of Golden taking over the cultural zeitgeist. I think that K-pop Demon Hunters is going to go along with that. And Disney sequels in general are a lot harder to get wins unless you're Toy Story. So, I mean, watch out for Zootopia 2. I think that has a pretty strong chance just because it is Disney, but I think it's going to be K-pop Demon Hunters.
Sorry, I'm sure I'm trying to solve this mic issue, but I think it's just because I haven't corded. All right, John, what is your pick for animated pick? I said that twice. Animated choice.
Ironically, I've actually only seen one film in this category, and I apologize for that because I usually am better prepared. But
you're defaulting like me.
So I've only ever seen K-pop Demon Hunters in this little group, and I think that might also be the front runner, honestly. But I formed that opinion, one, because it's completely skewed because that's the only one I've seen, but also Elio. The popularity of Elio has waned. A lot of people weren't hot on it when it did come out. There's a few outliers like Tyler who did endorse it, and he's not alone there. But Arco I heard really good things about, and then Little Amelie, the character of Rain, I've been hearing about for a very long time. A lot of people really, really dug that film. It's on my watch list. I can't wait to check it out. I heard it's very, very heavy and very emotional. So, with a grain of salt, I'll check it out. And then Zootopia 2. I really liked the first Zootopia a whole lot. And I heard Zootopia 2 was, for better or worse, more of the same, which could be a strength or could be perceived as a weakness if the record books against Disney sequels, non-Toy Story related, are any indication. So I had no other choice but to land on K-pop Demon Hunters for this one. Connor, muted.
Much worse choices in general. I just noticed I was muted. Sorry. But yeah, I mean, K-pop Demon Hunters is, I mean, it's, to be fair, it's a really one-of-a-kind type movie. I think that it's definitely captured a lot of people's just excitement for the year as far as animated films go. I mean, Zootopia obviously is breaking, all the records when it comes to animated films. But as far as films I've heard the most about, I mean, it's kind of like Avatar. It's like I haven't heard a ton about Avatar since it came out, but it's still making bank. And so is Zootopia 2. But I still hear so much about K-pop, and it's been, I don't remember when it came out, like in the summer. So, I mean, it's been a long time, and I think it's still in a lot of people's psyche, and I think it's going to be the winner. But we'll see.
It's still in the top 10 movies in Netflix. It's still,
holy crap. Yeah,
it's still up there.
So,
still making waves.
I'm sure they probably have like the one poster that's like the normal film, and another poster that's like the sing-along edition or something. So it's like
correct.
Yeah. All right, we're gonna dive into production design. We got Frankenstein. We've got One Battle After Another. We got Hamnet, Sinners, and Marty Supreme. Just because of time, I feel very much I don't really have a big opinion about this. I feel like production wise, Frankenstein to me is the clear winner to me. I just feel like there's so much, and I off camera, well, on camera, but off the filming, I showed my Frankenstein book, which is all about the production of this film. And it's really incredible, like how much went into this. So I just, out of respect towards Guillermo del Toro and just kind of like the film as a whole, I gotta go Frankenstein. But I totally get if Sinners, or even One Battle After Another, but more so Sinners, was like the lead in your guys' eyes. John, what is your opinion?
Yeah, for the sake of time, I'll keep it quick too. I'm gonna also roll with Frankenstein, though I did appreciate the Hamnet's production design, like the theater in the round, the Globe Theater recreation, and Hamnet was really nice, and of course Sinners, um, and yeah, like it didn't blow me away. None of those films blew me away the way Frankenstein sets did. So I think it's very clearly a Frankenstein sweep in these types of categories.
And Tyler.
Yeah, I think we have one category coming up where we're all just kind of going to be on the same page and we can go pretty quickly. And I think this is a similar category. I think Frankenstein is going to take the win here. I think Sinners might put up a competition. If Sinners wins, I would be surprised on Oscar night, but I think it's going to be Frankenstein.
All right. And film editing. Film editing is similar to, forget which one it was that had Avatar, costuming, right? So it also has one that we've not been seeing on repeat over and over. This is the first time that we've seen F1 enter the scene. So we have F1 for film editing, Marty Supreme, One Battle After Another, Sentimental Value, and Sinners. So I'm personally, film editing wise, it's for me between F1 actually and One Battle After Another. But I'm going to go One Battle After Another. That's just my quick reaction from this list. But F1 to me, I feel like it's filmed so like it's I don't know words. So go ahead, John. I think F1 just is my second if I were to pick a second. But One Battle After Another, that's going to win. John, go ahead.
Yeah, I listen. You know, a good editor knows you shouldn't notice the editing, right? And that's the mark of a true good editor. And I think also immersing you into the story very deeply. And so I think all these films did really well. Yes, even Marty Supreme. But I think F1, just told the best story with its editing choices. It also, to be fair to F1 against the other films, it's just way more kinetic, because it's supposed to be. So I can see any of these films winning. It's kind of a crapshoot, but I'm going to put my money towards F1.
F1.
Yep.
And Tyler.
Yeah, the Academy here usually goes for not the best editing, but usually just the most editing. They do something similar in Best Sound category. So I can see why F1 made it into both sound and editing. I see your arguments there for F1. I personally don't agree. I think that this is going to go to One Battle After Another. I think especially that car chase scene at the end, like how do you not just be so impressed by the editing in that sequence? And I would go as far to say, I think the runner-up is going to be Sinners. I think that this is going to be a very common theme in a lot of these categories where it's going to be those two battling it out. And especially the strong love that Sinners has received across the board, I think that is going to show up pretty frequently. But I'm going with One Battle After Another.
All right. And next is sound. Sound is F1, Frankenstein, One Battle After Another, Sinners, and Surratt. I'm 100% going F1. I mean, I was fully immersed when that film was on the screen. I mean, I think it's a spectacular sound design. So I'm going to go F1. But what about you, Tyler? What's your pick?
Yeah, I don't have any notes. I think this is going to go to F1. Like I was saying earlier, they usually just kind of go with the most sound. Pretty straightforward. I don't think there's really much competition here.
Okay. John, what do you think?
Surratt, next question.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet, so I don't have...
So, yeah, I mean, if they give it to F1, great. It also has great sound. Like, no problem there. But I think Surratt, just from the sound perspective, especially the ending sequence, oh my gosh. So Surratt's my choice, but F1 will likely be the winner, I think.
Okay. Now, the next category has even more stuff that we've not seen yet. And I would say I've seen some takes on it as far as disagreements, and that's visual effects. Visual effects, to me, I mean, it's pretty clear who's going to win, but the nominees are Avatar, Fire and Ash, F1, Jurassic World Rebirth, The Lost Bus, and Sinners. Now, I've seen half, maybe a little less than half of The Lost Bus, and I forgot to keep going. so that's on me.
Did you get lost?
I did, apparently, because when this popped up, I was like, oh yeah. But I turned it on Apple, and then I just never got back to it. So, but visuals, I mean, obviously the fire looks good, but I mean, I haven't gotten to anything that's like crazy. So, I mean, Avatar's gonna win. Let's just be real. I mean, I don't know if you guys disagree, but I mean, Jurassic World, the dinosaurs look cool. I mean, they do. The movie I like, but a lot of people don't like. I mean, it's stupid fun, but you can't say the dinosaurs don't look good. I mean, that's where the budget went. And then Sinners, I mean, visual effects in Sinners, I mean, the barn burning down, it's just, there's not, as you guys kind of stated before, it's the level, the amount of visual effects here is what I think about. And I feel like Sinners doesn't have as many like crazy special effects on display. But maybe that's just the way I'm interpreting visual effects awards. But I'm going Avatar. Tyler, what is your opinion?
Avatar. Next question.
Okay, John.
I'm actually going to go with Sinners on this one.
Okay.
And I've seen all five of these films, and they all look really great. I think Avatar is a great choice to win. It certainly looked fantastic, very beautiful.
Yeah.
But I think as far as, so in many ways, I've kind of seen all these films before, and I think Cinder stands out for a couple of reasons, namely that one sequence where they kind of sweep around during the song while the song's playing. And that's that because the visual effects should aid the storytelling of what's happening. And not, of course, Avatar does that in spades. That's like every frame is visual effects in that movie.
Yeah.
I just think Sinners had a bigger punch emotionally for me. So that's my choice.
Okay. All right. Cinematography is our next category. Cinematography.
Right. 1 second.
Yeah.
Okay, visual effects was the one that I thought we were all gonna just be like, "Yep, good
Avatar.
to go."
Yeah.
Sorry, my cat was yelling at me across the door, and I couldn't not hear him. So let him in the basement with me.
No worries. Yeah, Tyler was just saying that he thought that we were all going to be locked in on Avatar, which I mean, going in, I also thought that we were all going to be locked in on Avatar. But yeah, I'm honestly, to be 100%, I would be surprised if Sinners wins. But that's just because of my interpretation of how visual effects are interpreted with the Academy Awards.
That's fair.
But all right, cinematography. We have Frankenstein. Actually, I talked too fast after talking because I ended that and went straight into it because it's hard to edit. One sec. All right. Cinematography, Frankenstein, Marty Supreme, One Battle After Another, Sinners, and Train Dreams. Cinematography, I'm going to do what you guys have said. I'm going to say One Battle After Another. Enough said. I'm done. Next. John, go ahead.
cinematography means a whole lot of different things. People sometimes just attribute it just to the lighting. That's a big part of it, but that's not the only thing. It's also the visual language and the ins and outs of everything. And why that matters, I think that to that the editing discussion from earlier about the end sequence and one battle after another on the road, very compelling. Like that's one of my favorite scenes of the year. But here's the thing, like that's just one scene. It's not the whole film. And it's also why I didn't pick it for best editing. So I do think that cinematography across that film is really great. I like Sinners a whole lot. I think Train Dreams has, once you sit down, Connor, and walk through Train Dreams, I think you might agree with me.
Okay.
Just because the visual language, because a lot of it is first person, kind of not literally first person like a shooter game or something, but how Joel Edgerton's character walks through the world is very, very, very arresting.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of that is attributed to how they shot the film. And also great lighting. It looks fantastic. I think it has a strong weight to it. So
you're going Train Dreams.
I'm going to go Train Dreams on this one. Sinners is my runner-up.
All right, Tyler.
They're all beautiful films, especially Frankenstein.
I am going to go with Sinners on this one. I think that it has a lot. I agree in that I think sometimes people kind of just look at the lighting. I think when people think of cinematography, they think like, can I take a screenshot of this scene and how pretty does it look? Where I agree, I think cinematography has a lot more about the moving parts to it. But I think Sinners has that quote unquote pretty look to it. I think every single shot in Sinners is absolutely stunning. And so I think that's what they're going to go for. But I would agree otherwise. I think Train Dreams is going to be a runner-up for the same reason. I think Train Dreams is really stunning in how it builds its world and how the main character kind of perceives the world around him and really kind of immersing you into that same perception. I think it does very beautifully with its cinematography in Train Dreams. But I'm going to go with Sinners and then Train Dreams as a runner-up.
All right. And we're getting into our final four categories. We are getting down to the nitty-gritty, and we are starting with actor in a leading role. Actor in a leading role is one that I feel the most opinion towards, I guess, out of the ones. That might not be the case when I look over the other ones, but as of right now, this is by far the one that I'm like actually have someone that I would substitute, because previous ones I've not. But nominees for actor in a leading role are Timothée Chalamet, Leonardo DiCaprio, Ethan Hawke, and Michael B. Jordan, and Wagner Moura. I mean, without a doubt, we've kind of went over this. I feel like Leo is really good and One Battle After Another. I love One Battle After Another. I don't think his performance is anything outstanding here compared to the surrounding cast he has. I would personally put in Paul Mescal here. I love Paul Mescal's performance, and I think it works incredibly well with Jesse Buckley, and just the emotion that plays out when he I guess you've all seen Hamnet? Okay, cool. So the emotion that takes place when he rides home from what most likely a letter saying that his daughter is pretty much on her deathbed, and like to come home, and he comes home and he sees his daughter standing there, and he has that moment of celebration where he picks her up and it's kind of dancing around with her, and then he's just like, where is Hammett? And and at that moment where he realizes like, oh, things aren't okay here. I mean, that moment is devastating to me, and that's the moment that I think like pretty much symbolizes his role here. I think that moment alone is more powerful than anything Leo does in One Battle After Another, but that's also because One Battle After Another is a much more comedic performance out of Leo than we typically see, apart from Wolf of Wall Street. But yeah, I'm personally, if I'm going who I want to win, I'm going Ethan Hawke. Who I think is going to win, I'm going to go odd here, and I'm going to say Michael B. Jordan. Although Timothy obviously is the talk of the town right now, I'm going Michael B. Jordan for the win. Tyler, what is your opinion?
Yeah, I think going back to what we were discussing earlier with screenplay and going all the way back to the beginning of the podcast when we were talking about best makeup, I think that if, spoilers for later, I guess, if One Battle After Another is going to win Best Picture, I think it stands as a pretty strong chance to bring Leonardo DiCaprio with it. Last year, I ended up predicting Mikey Madison for Best Actress not even against my better instinct, against what I wanted to happen and what was happening all season with Demi Moore winning Best Actress. But it ultimately came down to there's no way Anora wins Best Screenplay, Best Director, and Best Picture, and it doesn't also win Best Actress for Mikey Madison. Now, Mikey Madison was also like the lead of Anora, and she was like the entire film, where Leo is not like that anchoring of a presence as Mikey Madison was in Anora. But he is the lead of the film. And so I think that if One Battle After Another is poised to win Best Picture, that stands as a really, really strong chance for Leonardo DiCaprio to get his second Oscar. That being said, I'm having a hard time going against Timothée Chalamet. I think he's got the momentum. I think he's got the narrative. I think a lot of people in the Academy really, really like him, and a lot of people really, really want to see him win. And Marty Supreme did do pretty well across nominations. So I think I'm going to predict Timothée Chalamet. But my runner-up, who I wouldn't be surprised, would be Leonardo DiCaprio. I'm going to go with you, though, Connor. If I was voting, I would vote for Michael B. Jordan in this category. I think he's pretty stellar in that film.
Yeah. I was shocked when he popped up on there because I just felt like the buzz around him was kind of like dropping. But I mean, his performances are just phenomenal. He's, to me, by far there's so much good in Sinners, but he's by far that's an easy statement, but best part of the film because he is the film, like one version of himself is always, there. All right, John, what about you?
So as much as I am happy that Wagner Moura is nominated, I don't think he's got a good shot. Too many unknowns, too much against him. Not that he wasn't phenomenal, because The Secret Agent and his performance in it is incredible. I felt the same way walking out of Blue Moon, just convinced that Ethan Hawke, he's going to get nominated for an Academy Award. Yeah. And the more I thought about his performance, I'm like, he better win this Academy Award. And yeah, I know Timothée Chalamet has, he's been kind of gearing up to get his flowers after the last couple of nominations of late. He could get it. I don't think he is as good as Ethan Hawke in Blue Moon. I really don't. And One Battle After Another, Leo's performance was serviceable. Like, he was good, but it was serviceable. It was more in line with Wolf of Wall Street, where he's kind of playing kind of the doofus of sorts, contending with everything, all the chaos going around him. We've all seen the movie, but Michael B. Jordan, like, it's just a strong case for it's anyone's race, honestly. So I think Wagner Moura is deserving of this nomination, and if he wins, I would be cheering for him. I don't think he has the backing to get there, and my taste is for Ethan Hawke. My choice is for Ethan Hawke. I think if there's a runner-up, it's going to be Michael B. Jordan, because of the impact that he landed. Not one, just two great performances into one film. So that's my position.
All right. Now moving on to actress in a leading role. This one, Jessie Buckley, Rose Byrne, Kate Hudson, Renate Ryensby, and Emma Stone are the nominees for actress in a leading role. This one, similar to the last one, and I guess it's more divisive choice because are they supporting, are they lead? But I personally feel Kate Hudson can go away, and Chase Infinity should be here. I mean, Chase Infinity, it's I don't remember if this is her first role or if she's just very young. And I think she's done multiple films, but maybe I'm wrong. Tyler, do you know about her history?
I know she's been in other things before. I don't know if this is her first film. She's been in she was in a television show before this.
Got it. Okay. So, I mean, it's very impressive for a film debut. I think she works incredibly well against Leo, but I think the scenes that stand out the most are when she is face to face with Sean Penn's character. I mean, it's just, it kind of gives you chills when they're interacting because he's just so evil of a person. But yeah, she deserved to be here. She's not here, so whatever. But I think really it comes down to Jessie Buckley or Rose Byrne. Rose Byrne just got the Golden Globe. But I mean, I think, honest to God, I think the lock-in is Jessie Buckley. But Rose Byrne, I love Rose Byrne. I've always enjoyed everything she's done. But Jessie Buckley, I think, is the clear favorite. So I'm going to go Jessie Buckley. John, what's your opinion?
Yeah, I'm right there with you, Connor. This is Jessie Buckley's Oscar to lose. Rose Byrne, I've seen all these films too, and Kate Hudson's nomination, okay. I think Chase Infinity would have been a more appropriate selection, but Kate Hudson got a lot of that last minute momentum, and she was good in that film. I don't know about Oscar worthy good, and Renate Ryensby, I also think she's very deserving. I don't think, like Wagner Moura, I don't think she has the clout behind her, the big campaign behind her pushing her. And Rose Byrne's, that film was hard for me to get through because it was just hard for me to watch. It was very good, and Rose Byrne is very good in it. So, but that kind of put me off the film. That's a very biased take. Emma Stone's kind of like a place filler because she's always good. She's always in wild stuff these days, and good for her. I like that she's taking more challenging roles and breaking the mold of her younger acting catalog. Everything post La La Land's been very, very, very interesting, at least. But yeah, I think Jessie Buckley she's going home the Oscar, in my opinion.
Tyler?
I agree. I think it's Jessie Buckley that's going to take this home. I'm also going to echo that. I think Chase Infinity was snubbed in this category, and I would easily replace Kate Hudson with Chase Infinity. That being said, I have not seen Song Sung Blue, so I might watch it and I might be like, oh no, Kate Hudson was phenomenal and she 100% deserved that nomination. That being said, I'm not a very big fan of Buconia, so I would replace Chase Infinity with Emma Stone.
Okay. Yeah.
But as of right now, I would replace Kate Hudson with Chase Infinity. But yeah, Jessie Buckley's taking this. I think Rose Byrne might put up a little bit of a fight just because with that Golden Globes nomination. But we've talked about how Hamnet is in itself a pretty strong contender. And this is the one that it's pretty poised to win. Jessie Buckley has an Oscar nomination. A lot of people in the Academy really, really like her. And I think they all want to see her win. And you know what? I do too.
Reflecting back on the actor and supporting role, because I just completely forgot about Jesse Plemons, even though, as you said, you didn't really care for Begonia. But I would replace, honestly, Benicio del Toro with... I just said his name, Jesse Plemons. So yeah, let's keep moving. We are on to director, and then we have one more category. Directing, we have Hamnet, Marty Supreme, One Bow After Another, Sentimental Value, and Sinners. For me, this one is, we kind of covered it earlier in the episode. It's kind of like paying their dues to a filmmaker that has not won an award. I think One Bow After Another is going to win this. I think Paul Thomas Anderson is going to walk away. If not him, I feel very strongly that it's going to be Sinners, Ryan Coogler. Similar, but obviously a much more extended amount of time for Paul Thomas Anderson. John, what about you?
Yeah, I think everyone did a great job. Josh Safdie has a knack for making great films that I can never see past one time. But yeah, I think PTA, I think it's this year. I think this is the one that gets him across the line. And for Ryan Coogler, who's my runner-up, I think this film, Sinners, is the benchmark. It's a good dry run for him in the future, where he makes probably a better film after Sinners, because he's just that talented of a filmmaker. So my choice is PTA.
All right, Tyler.
I gotta agree. I have a hard time seeing anyone other than PTA winning this one. I think once we get to picture, there's a pretty strong runner-up, and I think that Ryan Coogler might surprise and win Best Director. I think a lot of things are going to need to change over the course of the next few weeks in order for that to happen. I think Sinners is going to have to pick up a fair bit of momentum, but I think it's already getting that momentum just with breaking the record of the film with the most Oscar nominations. Yeah. So who knows if that keeps steamrolling into BAFTA nominations, if that keeps steamrolling into SAG wins, if it wins Best Ensemble at SAG, that's huge. And then if it does well at BAFTA, then who knows? Ryan Coogler could take this. I don't see that happening right now. I would see a split between director and picture, with PTA winning director before I see Ryan Coogler taking this award.
Okay. All right. Well, we're on to the final award, the one that ends the night of the Oscars. Everybody's waiting for it. And we're going to do it a little bit different. These are 10 nominees. We have Begonia for Best Picture, F1, Frankenstein, Hamnet, Marty Supreme, One Bow After Another, The Secret Agent, Sentimental Value, Sinners, and Train Dreams. So we've talked about all of these films throughout this whole process. So I feel like we don't really need to run down all these films like throughout, but I do kind of want to do like a quick kind of like lineup of what you think if you were to put these 10 in order from where you think is going to win. Where would you put it? And I don't want like a huge thinking about it just right off the top of your head. Like, this is what I think the Academy is going to do. For me, I personally feel like the least likely to win Best Picture is F1. Then after F1, I would say Begonia. Then after Begonia, I would say Train Dreams. Then The Secret Agent, Sentimental Value, Marty Supreme, Frankenstein, and then Sinners and One Bow After Another, I think will come away with the win as far as the likelihood. But how do you guys feel? How would you do your rundown, Tyler, if you want to go ahead?
Sure. So in my number 10 spot, I also have F1. 9, I have Train Dreams. 8, I have The Secret Agent. 7, I have Sentimental Value. 6, I have Begonia. 5, I have Frankenstein. 4, I have Marty Supreme. 3, I have Hamnet. 2, I have Sinners. And number 1, I have One Battle After Another.
All right. And John, are you going to stick with the top runner with us? Or let's see, start with number 10.
So my 10 is also going to be F1. I think I'm going to mirror Connor's list pretty much to the letter. Begonia's next. Then I think maybe Frankenstein or Train Dreams. And then Marty Supreme, Sentimental Value, The Secret Agent. I think Secret Agent deserves more love, but anyway. I don't know if I've already said Frankenstein. That should be pretty on the bottom of the list. I think the top 2, everyone knows what the top 2 films are going to be. That's the elephant in the room. And I do agree with Tyler's split. I think if PTA wins director, they're going to hand Best Picture to Sinners. But I think it's very likely that PTA is going to, or I'm sorry, One Battle After Another is going to take both top prizes. But if there is going to be a split, that's what I'm going to say. If there is going to be a split, that's how it's going to be. PTA takes the director Oscar, and Sinners walks off with Best Picture. Because I think everything else, because the Dark Knight rule, as it is, when they start expanding past 5 nominees, is very silly. They should have just given Dark Knight that 5th spot way back when, but that's neither here nor there. So my point is, though, 5 of these spots are just fluff. They're fluff. They don't need to be here. Keep it 5. Keep it simple. And I think the clear winner is down to those 2 films. I'm going to say One Battle After Another is probably going to win Best Picture, but if there's a split, it's going to go to Sinners instead.
Yeah, and I think honestly, both films are going to have huge discourse no matter who wins.
Correct.
There's so many people that dislike Sinners. There's so many people that dislike One Battle After Another and don't understand the hype. So
those are the same people, by the way. The same group of people hate both those films, and those are
you're probably right.
I've read them on Twitter or X or whatever, and like, oh my god, they're exhausting.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I mean, none of these are what they want. So, but
correct.
It's whatever. But March 15th, the Oscars will be on Hulu and ABC. I guess not Hulu at the time because Hulu will be dead. For Disney Plus, I assume. Yeah, I mean, make sure to check them out. I mean, it's like we've said, they're definitely something that we've kind of always, or more so in recent years, really grown towards. And it's kind of like our big event of the year that's really honoring everything we love with film. We may not agree with decisions that are made that night, but we'll definitely keep our fingers crossed that our picks are what are selected. And we'll definitely, closer to time, be putting what we said here onto Instagram as far as our choices, whether that be graphics or clips from here. I don't know yet. But for now, this concludes our selections, and I hope you stuck around. If not, hope you skimmed through. Either way, thanks for listening to the Cinefied Podcast. You can find more of our episodes as well as all of our written reviews on Cinefied.com. You can follow us on Letterboxd as well as all major social media platforms to stay up to date with our latest content. Now pop some popcorn, grab a drink, and remember, stay Cinefied. Till next time, see you guys.